And okay, we're live. Welcome. Hello. My name is Taylor Thompson coming to you live. I have a special, amazing guest here with me today, and we're going to be talking about who are you in adversity. And so as you're coming on, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're coming in from, because we may have some people internationally, I suspect. And let us know you're here. We want to see lots of hearts and loves, because you're going to want to take some notes here as we are talking to Miss Michele Eldridge. So who are you in adversity? And so I have a special guest on here today with me, and I absolutely love and adore her. I have so much respect for her. I can't wait for you to hear more about her. A lot of you know her. She was the very first interview that I did inside of the She Network. So if you haven't caught that interview, you definitely want to go back and check it out. But as you guys are coming on, I want to know, so Lyle and Angela, welcome. I got somebody here from, it looks like Missouri, Cindy, and it just says Facebook user. So make sure you let StreamYard give you permission so we can know who you are instead of Facebook user. Hello, Colleen. Welcome. Glad you're here. Hello. Let's see, Marilyn. Welcome. Glad you're here. Connecting from Nigeria. Whoa, wow, that's all the way from across the world. I'm glad that you're here. So we're going to be talking today about who you are in adversity. I miss you, Colleen. Sarasota, my favorite place on the whole entire planet. Can you believe that? Like Siesta Key, Sarasota. So jealous. So my beautiful friend here, Michele Eldridge, and she has gone through an amazing life journey here, and I wanted her to come on and share this story with you guys, because there's so many challenges that we face in our life. And, whenever it comes to, I always say, like, there's challenges in business and there's challenges in personal life. And how do you navigate through those kind of things and still keep moving? Right? No matter what those set of circumstances are. And so she's got an incredible story here, and I'm just so proud of her. I'm so proud of just to be able to call her friend, for sure. So Michele, how are you?
First of all, I have to say thanks for having me again. I am super honored. Everybody that knows you loves you. Give some hearts for Taylor, because she is just incredible, and she's always thinking of ways that she can show up for you. So you're definitely in the right place. But I'm doing well. I'm super excited. Probably the best I've been in a while. So I'm just happy to be here.
Well, and thank you so much, because I know that this is, you've been through quite a journey just in the last couple of months. So I'm going to go back to June, because I know this is kind of where I came into the story. I mean, like, you were the first story that I had in the She Network, and I loved your story because it to me, your story embodies network marketing and really allowing, because it really creates a level playing field for anyone who has a desire to want to change their life. And you embody that story to me, from where you came, the struggles that you had to overcome, the addictions that you went through, being a mom, and all of those things. So if you haven't heard her story, I don't want to take the time to really go back there, but I want you to know her story. And that's where I connected with you the first time, heard your story on Rank Maker Stage through Ray, and I just loved you. And so we really connected. And then so you did some training for us in the She Network. And for those of you who are not involved in the She Network, we definitely want to ask you to go check that out at the shenetwork.com, myshenetwork.com. And so we were going to do a training for you and your team. And you were like, okay, I'm going to have to cancel. That was back in June, right? So let's start from there, and let's tell the viewers what was taking place for you and what was happening.
So, I'd known that I'd had a liver disease for years, about a decade, but it had never, it had been dormant. It just not ever bothered me.
And now, because you knew this because of your history with your drug, how did you know that?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was barely 18 when I was diagnosed.
Hmm.
And at that point, I hadn't really even dove in. So I don't know even what happened, but I've only found out because after, let's see, I was in the hospital and they done blood work on me and they told me then. But what I did do obviously was not helpful for it in the long run after that. But anyway, so I'd known for a long time, and I'd went and to the doctor, I'd saw a specialist, nothing ever happened. Fast forward, 10 years, and there's I get like poison ivy. I'm in the garden. I love flowers, and I'm getting in them, and I get covered in it. Long story short, I go to the doctor. They give me steroids. But the itching,
Now this was back in June, right?
this was actually this. It was a little bit before June.
Okay, a little bit before June.
Um,
And I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause it. So as you guys are tuning in, I just want you to know, I want you to hear this story, and I want you to stay tuned to the very end because we're going to be giving away. We're going to be giving away drawings for 2 tickets to Rankmakers Live. Okay. So if you share this on your profile, you share this out, your name's going to get to go on a drawing, and we're going to be giving away 2 tickets. We're going to be giving one for those who join the She Network today. We're going to be doing a drawing for there as well. So 2 tickets. So pay attention till the very end of what you need to do. So share this out. That's the first way. So you went through this process. You got steroids for poison ivy, right?
yeah, and I did actually have poison ivy, but after they ran out, I was still itching, and it just wasn't making sense because I didn't have a rash anymore. And I kept going back to the hospital, and instead of them, checking my blood or anything like that, they kept giving me steroids. And there was no inkling in here that there was a connection, and they didn't tell me. So I itched from February to February, March, April probably, and I'm just itching constantly. I was on steroids for like 2 months straight.
Okay.
And then finally, I just didn't go back. I didn't care how much I itched. It was just like, I can't keep taking those. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, but it's driving me crazy. And that was all it was, though. And I didn't realize how grateful I should have been just for the itching at that point. But I was Googling, like, what makes you itch for no reason all over? And I found the liver. So I went back to the hospital, and I told them, I'm like, this could be my liver. And then they made the connection. Like, it's a little late now. But then they said, that possibly, that the steroids had made it worse. And so, it was tough. But from then, it only progressed. And so, when I was talking to you, I was jaundiced. My eyes were yellow. My skin was yellow. I had a bile duct block. There was the toxins just were not going out of my body. My liver was not happy. And there was just nothing they could do, nothing I could do. And even so, at that point, I'm in pain every night. I cannot sleep. I'm itching 24/7. The worst is especially at night. And all the while, I still have, my husband, my kids. I work for the Higdon Group with Wade and Jessica Higdon. I have my business. And so I had to do all these things and still somehow, function. I had to get it all done. And so it's tough. I was in a tough spot, and I hate to cancel anything, but it was just in a place where, I couldn't eat. I couldn't, I was having to force myself to take a step, and people started figuring out something was wrong with me.
Yeah.
They started you know.
Well, and let me just talk about this right here because, first of all, like I'm definitely want to like spank your little butt right here because you were trying to take care of this and try to do this without really letting people know, like, I need some help and support.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. Like, that's why you have people around you, especially whenever you go through adversity, to let them know, like, hey, I need help and I need support. That's what friends do. That's what tribes do. That's what relationships do. So don't be afraid if you're in situations like this to ask for help, because whenever you look at, I mean, Michele is she's in the top 10%, 1%,
Top
actually,
1%, baby.
1%, sorry, of her company. So people are counting on her. So she's got her team, she's got her tribe, she's got responsibilities with rent makers that she works for. She's also founding circle member here at the She Network. She's also, I mean, whenever you think about being a wife now, and she's got 2 little ones at home, being a mom on top of that. And I want you to think about self-responsibility. Whenever you talk about being in networking, you talk about self-responsibility. Self-responsibility is whenever you do it, you do it, even if you don't feel like it. And this is exactly where you were last June, right? Before you actually started, whenever you got the diagnosis. So now you've got the doctors and stuff, and they're putting the pieces together. So what happens next?
They're concerned for me, but there's, I go to a specialist. I find out, I have the genotype that can be cured, which is awesome. But aside from that, too, that it's about $1,000 a pill, and you got to take one for about 12 weeks, and you can't miss a day. If you miss a day, you're basically going to start all over. And so the treatment, just the drugs, are a lot of money. And then
let's talk about how big the number is.
Like the estimation was like basically 100 grand, and 85 was where I was being really conservative. And then I found a way, like I kept researching, having other people look for me, to find ways to save it all, like with the actual makers of the drugs and da 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 da. There was, I think it was like 25 grand that they were able to pull down, so that would be saved. And, every little thing that could possibly be found was found. And what's, it's not bizarre, but it's like the price to, it's almost like a bittersweet thing. So if you're broke, you're indigent, you have no money, well, you get health insurance for free, right? They'll pay for it all. But when you do well and you decide, I can't, that's what I did. I can't live on government assistance for the rest of my life. It's not going to, I just don't want that for my kids. You don't get that same kind of thing. And because I had a pre-existing condition, I don't care how much money I made. Insurance companies didn't want to give me insurance because I've had that condition since I was 18 years old, even though it didn't bother me. And so I had none. Zero.
Well, so let's talk about, you're being faced with basically $100,000, medical bill.
Yeah.
And so, but you've got to make sure that you have the money in place, because if you start the process, you don't want to restart. So you've got to make sure that the finances are there.
Yeah.
Right. And now you've got to deal with not feeling good, being sick, little kids running around that you're taking care of. You've got your business and the responsibilities of that. I mean, now this is where the mindset part comes in.
Yeah.
And how do you as a mom navigate through mom, entrepreneur, what are you doing? Because this is a big mountain, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's these situations that make us or break us, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so tell us how, what did you do? How did you navigate? How are you navigating through this, because you're in the middle of this process. How are you navigating through this? How are you overcoming this challenge?
Well, at first, I'm not going to tell you that it was, just doing it healthy is not an easy thing. Like I do a lot and it still gets done because I think Nicola Smith Jackson said it and Ray repeated it. And I heard him say it and I've never forgot it. I've legitimately got this on my wall, and it's, what are you going to tell your kids, that you were too scared, you were too tired, or what is it? You had the opportunity to do something for them. What are you going to tell them when you don't do it, when it's as simple as using your phone? And that just, I just read it every day. But when this happened, I was faced with, you know, potential brain damage and memory loss and death, like legitimately dying. Like this is not a drill. It was coming on so strong, so fast, and not what of like when it started, it was just like severely aggressive. And there was so many things going through my head, but the only thing I couldn't, like, I do personal development every day, and there's not a day that goes by that I there's it's not it's not negotiable. I do not care what's happening, what's going on. It's got to happen, because I know if I don't, I'm going to pay for it. There's going to be something that happens that I'm just not able to get through. And that came from, you know, unlearning a lot and relearning through this whole process of being in this industry. But I have to say that the biggest thing for me was I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Well, and here's the thing, and I want to talk about this piece right now, because so many times we talk about personal development, we talk about mindset, we talk about those things, and it's like words, right? It's like, okay, you can go through the motions of like mindset and personal development program, but whenever you actually have to implement it, right?
Yeah.
Now it's where the rubber meets the road. All of this stuff that you've been gearing up for, now it's time to put it into application. It's time to apply it to your daily method of operation. Because without that mindset, how do you have the courage to get up out of bed? Whenever you don't feel good, you're in pain, you're being faced with a life and death challenge, you're looking at your kids, right? You're looking at, because it becomes bigger than you, right? It becomes bigger than the set of circumstances that you're walking through. And so here's the thing, like everybody, sometimes we let ourselves like off the hook. And I always say that, Larry's always taught that you learn really somebody's true character in two areas, right? Through adversity and prosperity.
Write this down. Write it down. For real. I told her when she said it to me, I'm writing that down. You have to write it down. Write it down so you never forget it. Don't ever forget it. That's so powerful to me.
It is so powerful, because you really learn the true nature of what really somebody's made of in those two arenas of life. And, the good, bad, the ugly, the indifferent. And, so many times I think people, like, they go through stuff and they go, wow, nobody has it as bad as I do. It could, and so I'm sharing this story because no matter what adversity or challenges you may be facing today in your personal life, in your business life, your health, because Michelle's got it all going on right here. She's an overcomer. She's an overcomer. She's putting her blinders on. She's applying all of this learning, all of this mindset training that and she's applying it every single day, right? And and it's not easy, is it, Michele?
No, it isn't easy. It's easy. What's easy is to lay in the bed, because I know that that's better for me, and that, I could easily feel sorry for myself, and having, nobody would question it. If I said tomorrow, you know what, team, Ray, Jess, I'm just not feeling up I'm not feeling up to it. Nobody would question that.
No.
Nobody would question it. But that's when, like, it's all about perspective. Mary Kate, who's the member success manager with the Higdon Group, she her mom just went through some liver issues, and she went through there and she had this big surgery. They found out she had cancer, and this is important, so that's why I'm saying it. But she was like, okay, so she's got this big cut, and her perspective though was, okay, what do I got to do to get through this? What do I got to do to go home? And that's how when Mary Kay was telling me that, that's what I think is, what do I got to do to get through this, to get on the other side? Not because I believe we can either take a situation and make it for us and use it, or we can wallow in a situation and let it be, like, we'll become it. One or the other. And I'm just not a wallower, and I can't. And in a lot of cases, again, nobody's going to question it if they do that. But if say it's a life or death thing, if you live through it, okay, are you going to question yourself? Because if you are, you need to, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to be 90 years old telling younger kids, my biggest regret is I didn't do something because life was hard. Because guess what? Life's hard for everybody.
Yeah.
Stuff sucks for everybody. There's a million bazillion things, and bazillion people probably making it happen way more than me, that's gone through way worse than me. There's just no question for me if it's going to happen or not. But it's a pounding decision that I have to make every day. Yeah. It's a conscious intention of, this has to happen, and here's why. And the vision is so strong. Lisa Grossman says this: if you can master the arts of specificity with your vision and who it is you want to become, what life it is that you want to live, the more specific and clear that you can see that, the less any adversity will shake you. And I embrace that wholeheartedly.
So there's as you're talking here, there's a couple of scriptures that come to mind, right? So what the enemy means for harm, God can make for good.
Yeah.
And, right now, like, Michele, I mean, I just want to, edify you so much, because so many people are watching. And here's the thing, you're being such a light for so many people that you don't even know right now. The ripple effect and impact that you're having just by being the story, just by being that guiding light, being that example, right, of pushing through adversity, pushing through this with character, right, because you have a vision. And and the other scripture that comes to mind for me is, without a vision, my people will perish.
Oh gosh.
And so I love the fact that you have set your blinders, you have put your blinders on, and you are so clear on what the vision is and where you're going and what you're going for, that it doesn't matter what the distractions are, how you feel, because so many times people act on how they feel versus what they need to do, right? They and Larry's always taught me, there's no thought in emotion, right? And if you go based upon your feelings, right, you can become paralyzed and you become rendered ineffective if you go based on your feelings. It's not what you feel, it's what you do. Yep. And so I just love everything you do. And so for those of you who have been involved in the She Network, we did like a little fundraiser, because we did we were selling, like, Michele Cunningham. She was like, her proceeds from her one of her courses, we gave to Michele and her cause. And then then this last week, Ray had a contest for talking about, like, for selling tickets to rent makers. And so Michele, and I have to spank your butt again, because you waited till the last minute to say, hey, I need some help. Who do you know that would buy tickets? I'm like, hello. Where do you should like 2 hours, 3 hours before the contest is over. I'm like, why did you wait till now? Like, what about this person? What about this person? What about this person? So anyway,
my strong suit. I have to come in here and say this. First of all, Taylor and them, they'd already, people ask me all the time, okay, hold on, I have to back it up. So when people started asking me like what was wrong with me, they knew something was up. I ended up finally telling a couple of people that I work with, Stacy and Mary Kate with the Higdon group, and they lovingly forced me into a GoFundMe. And, we did this live video, and without him, I probably couldn't have even announced it. Like, I kept saying I was going to do it, but I just couldn't bring myself to. Anyway, this GoFundMe was a thing, and then it's hard. The hard part is asking for help. And sometimes you actually, like, you have to have it. Like, I don't know that there's some of the stuff. That's another one of the things that's helped me is having that support after I finally come out with it. I will say that 1000%. And as far as being the mom, my mom's here right now. You know what I mean? I've not had as much help in my life from a soul, not a single person. I've never asked for it. I've always been independent, but this year I've had to ask for help. And so I probably deserve a spanking because Ray tells me, sometimes the lesson is to receive, and so it's okay to ask for help when you need it. There's no shame in that. Don't think that I'm just the greatest of the greatest and everything is me. I have the best, like people like Taylor. And the reason I didn't want to ask her is because she just sent that money from what they'd raised. And I mean, it's a lesson I have to continue to practice learning is to receive and to ask for help. But it was pretty awesome.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, sometimes, that's like there's nothing wrong with asking for help from people because here's the thing, you can't pour out of an empty cup.
True.
And so you have to be willing to give love, you have to receive love, right? And to be a blessing, you got to receive a blessing, right? And so you have to be willing to get your cup filled whenever it's time to get your cup filled. And so anyway, I want that to be a lesson for people because this is why we have tribes. This is why we have people. This is why we have relationships. If we can't call on the people that we're surrounded with in times of adversity, then we're having relationships. I mean, really? I mean, what is it all for if we can't call on people in a time of need? And the thing about it is that, here's the thing. This is whenever you don't do that, you are robbing somebody else of being a blessing. That's the hard part, right? Because most everybody wants to be a blessing. They want to give. They just, if they, they don't know what they don't know. Right. So here's what happened. So I'm so excited because we're celebrating here because in the moment of all of this, Ray did a contest. Who could sell the most tickets? Michele reached out to me. We bought some tickets and she won the contest. So woo, like, yes, she won $20,000. And let me just say this, guys. How easy would it have been for her to just fold her tent and say, I don't have the energy. I just can't do it. I mean, discount herself out, but she jumped right in there. Go ahead.
Well, no, I will say there are, that group's the best group and there's some heavy hitters. So initially I was selling myself short and I was comparing myself, which please don't do it. I don't fall into it often because I stay in my lane, but I recognized when I did it because I respect every single person and know what every single one of those people are capable of. And, it took me a few days before I ever was like, oh, well, maybe I could win, and then for 3 days straight, I didn't sleep at all because I decided I want to win. But if I'd played from jump like I was going to win, it wouldn't have been so hard at the end. And because of people like Taylor and Larry, Angel, Fletcher, Jeff Outgilpers, Jordan Adler, like I had so many, Lisa Gross, and so many people that I'm just honored that I even know them. But they were incredible, and they supported me. They knew what was up for grabs, and I like those people in that contest are serious players. And in my own eyes, not because anybody made me feel a certain way, but because of these mindset things that you continue. I don't care what level you're on. I don't care how much money you make. You always get to this level of limit, and you always have to go through it, that next one, to get to that next place. And in my own eyes, that had came back, and that showed itself in that. And I was like, I'm a tiny fish here. And I won. And that's, don't ever, being underestimated is probably a big advantage in any competition, as long as you're not underestimating yourself.
Yes.
That is what the key is.
It is the key because, it's really, it's the comparison thing, like what you said, because it's such a dangerous game to play. Right? First of all, because it's bad news either way. Meaning, because in the comparison game, you are either less than, which is not good, or you're more than, which is even worse, right?
Yeah, that's way worse.
Yeah, I think that's way worse. But here's the thing: like, I love the fact that whenever you said something, and I'm going to go back to whenever you made the decision, and Larry's always taught me the decision is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because whenever you decide, that means you've cut away all other options. And that's what happens with people in this business. That's what happens with people with their health, with their family, with their relationships, their adversity. What happens is they never make a decision to do something different.
Yep.
They never decide. They never jump all in and say, okay, I'm in it to win it. I'm doing this. Whether they win or lose, but they never know because they sell themselves short.
And they don't make the decision. And just to clarify, like decide, like pesticide, it means to kill off almost any other option. You've made a decision.
Yep.
And that was that way for me with addiction. It was that way for me with anything. And everything I've done right is because of a decision that when it's made, when you truly make a decision and you have Ray says it's a commitment strategy over an exit strategy, there is no other option.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it takes 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years, 10 years. You are committed to that vision. And I want to say something else about the vision part, because you may think you know what your vision is. And Lisa done a training for my team, and then I interviewed her on Ray's page, and there's an exercise that she does. And it made a lot of my leaders, even myself, there were certain things that I wasn't specific enough. But people say, I want to retire my spouse or take care of my mom or whatever. But you need to know, what color are the countertops in this house you're going to be building in? Are you making steps right now? Even if you're in nowhere near a shape to build a house, are you putting up $5 a week that is moving you towards that place? What color are the shutters? What are you and your spouse going to do when you retire them on Tuesday morning, right? Know these things, because I promise you, without the exact, I can see exactly where I'm going. There is no question what I'm doing, and the details are clear. And that's what successful people, every successful person that I know, everyone, knew where they were going long before they got there, and they're still going. Like they're still going to even further than some people can even think in here.
Right.
And I mean, when I first started, my vision was let's buy diapers, right? Let's pay a light bill. But as time goes on, and I realized that even I could do it, it expanded, but it got clearer and bigger and clearer and bigger as time went on. So hold on to that. And if you don't know what yours is, I really do invite you to sit down for 5 minutes and just write and be as clear as you can. And I will always thank Lisa for that lesson, because I do it all the time. Like once a week now, I'm recording 5 minutes of myself, just gibberish, pretty much. Nobody watches it, nobody hears it, but I know, and I can see, so anyway.
Well, and to that point, that brings another scripture to mind, Habakkuk 2:2, write it down and make it plain. Write the vision down and make it plain. And so, there's so many things that you're just such an inspiration on. As you're still on here, if you've shared the button here, you're going to go into a drawing for a ticket. For any new members that come into and join the She Network, my She Network, I'm going to do it this week. Because I've got several tickets I'm going to be giving away.
Let's sweeten the deal on the She Network, okay? So the She Network, I personally will give you, if you're the person who joins the She Network, right, and you win a ticket, I'll give you another ticket for a friend, anybody you want, and then another ticket for a friend, anybody you want. So technically, you'll be winning 3. Wow. So the winner, it has to be with the She Network, but the winner will get 3 tickets, one for themselves. If you've already got one, then you'll have 3 to give away. But just picture having 3 of your teammates on with you. They say that every event you go to, that you experience, every person you get, that's 1,000 more you'll make per person. Not only that, but everybody I think knows that Ray and Jess Gigdon changed my life, and without them, I don't know where I would be. And so just getting there, period, would be awesome. So I just wanted to sweeten the deal a little bit.
Yay! I love it. Great. I love that. So you guys make sure you punch the share button. I'm going to be putting everybody's name in. So we've got two different ways that you can do it. Share it on your profile. Share this right here, right? And joining the She Network. So you got 2 different ways that you can win tickets to Rainmaker's live event. We're going to be announcing the winner. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and announce. I'm going to give you guys till Wednesday. I'm going to announce it on Wednesday who won the tickets. So give me a little time there to share that out and get some people referring here and sharing out this incredible message. Michele, I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for taking out time to be here and sharing a little bit of your journey and being such an inspiration. You don't even know, the ripple impact that you're having. First of all, like, I know that you're not doing this for anybody else but you and your family and your children and your legacy, but the ripple effect you will have of being a light, as being a beacon, as being an inspiration through challenges and adversities of what that looks like and how you can be an overcomer, right? Because you know what the scripture says, you are more than an overcomer. You are a conqueror. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to speak that over you and speak life over you and your family, your health, your business, your finances, and just being so thankful for all the people that have surrounded and embraced you with love, because you're going to get to the other side a shining light, and you're going to be able to show other people exactly, how to follow along behind you. I love it.
I just love you so much, and I'm just honored to be here. I really am, and just so grateful for you and all that you do. You have impacted me in more ways than you could probably ever imagine. So I am 100% just honored to be your friend and to be here with you today. So thank you. I say we all the time. I don't know why I do that, but like, it's only going to get better from here. I go to my specialist the 25th, just to update anybody who's wondering. And fingers crossed, but the plan is to start treatment that day. Because between the GoFundMe and me winning and my team being insanely crazy and ranking twice, July and August, what we've been able to do, I'm able to do it. So it's definitely a village. It's took a village, but I didn't. None of that would have happened if I just laid down and accepted defeat. And so, I feel like.
And I definitely want you to come inside our groups. I want you to share your story. I want you to share your journey. I want you to share because we want to cheer you on. We want to encourage you. We want to empower you. We want to edify you. We want to cheer you through to the finish line for sure.
I will try. I will try. It's hard for me. I'll post updates, but it's, again, I know that's one of the things that I work on, but it's hard to me to accept all the love. It's the worst thing that I feel like a lot of women go through, but I promise I will do updates in there for everybody. And I appreciate you for even caring. So, and anybody else, because so many have asked me. So thank you. And Michele Cunningham, I have to do a special shout out for her. I love her so much. I didn't even know who she was until she told me that she found me through you. And I just have to, I know she'll probably see this, so I wanted to say a huge thank you to her.
Yes, and I want to thank you because she's the one that made the offer, and she was like, we can do this, and I'm like, let's do it. And so anyway, for all of those, and I'll share that link out for you guys for her Facebook course that she has, and you guys can purchase that, and all that money goes straight to her. It doesn't come to me; it'll go straight to Michele, and continue helping support her. So anyway, so thank you so much, Michele. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you got some value. Hope you're encouraged. And who are you when adversity strikes? That's what I want to know. So share it out. Go on the grind. We're going to give the names of the winners. And thank you both so much for being here with Monday Mom's Mindset with Taylor Thompson and Michele Eldridge. So goodbye.
Bye.